It's hard to believe it's the last game of conference play. We started off conference play on the road at A&M, and now we play against an Alabama team that's very much like we are. We're fighting for our lives, and they're fighting for their lives as well. So I'm sure that Avery have his team ready to come in here and compete at a high level, and we'll do the same thing. One of the more athletic teams in the league. Got size, very similar to LSU. So that means rebounding is going to be of importance, I think, to us. I'll get some offensive rebounds and keeping them off the offensive glass. And it's going to be about tempo. We want to get the tempo up and down the floor, and they will do that at times as well. But they've got some seniors on that team. Ingram, who I think is he's a glue guy. He's playing well this year. And the freshman, the Kyrie Lewis kid, he's a very, very talented player. And I think he's added a guard that can take care of the basketball, can score and distribute to others. Dante Hall, we all know what he brings, a guy of size that's super athletic, block shots, rebound, an exciting player. But they have other Petty. I mean, you go on and on. Petty, guy that's been around, it seems like forever, Riley Norris. He's back and a graduate player, and I think he gives them experience. So, again, we want to continue to play good basketball, executing on offense and executing on defense, and getting our bench involved. I think that's been a big key here as we starting to seem like we're starting to put the pieces together and hopefully go on a great run.
Dan was in here earlier, and he was pretty hard on himself for how some of the season's gone. I mean, what has he brought to this team this year, and emotionally, what has he brought as well as on the floor?
Well, Dan was in a very unusual situation. Last year, the thing he had some veteran guys around him. He had 7 seniors around him, so he had a chance to come and go at his own speed, and we saw that. And I thought he was probably, even more so like Bobby was. When Bobby's first freshman year, Bobby played efficient minutes. I mean, whether he played 20, 22 minutes, those minutes were really efficient. Well, Dan was the same way last year. Well, this year he's in a different boat. He's got to come with it. And I think for the most part, I think he's improved. I really do. He's been the target of most teams on the scouting report, and I think he's responded in a positive way. I think when you look at some of the things he's leading in the conference in field goal percentage, I think one of the top scorers, one of the top rebounders, one of the top shot blockers. Obviously, he's like we all are. Wish we had some more in the win column, but at the same time, I think Dan is he stood up to the test, and he's going to continue to be big going down the stretch for us.
Yeah, Mike, you guys have hit 30 of 56 threes the last 3 games, so that's a great percentage. Before that, 5 or 6 games, it was around 20-some%. What's been the difference with the three-point surge? And Desi's hit 7 out of 10 the last 3, so he's been really good.
Well, we're making him number 1, and but I think we kind of I think we got better ball movement. I think we got better ball movement now. And of course, you got a guy like I said, Desi. He's making it, and shooting sometimes is contagious. I thought the other night it got contagious. A couple guys was making it, and Isaiah, I think he made one early on, but then all of a sudden he makes like 3 in a row. So that means evidently we're starting to understand personnel, we're spacing the floor, continue to utilize Dan, but I thought we get more into the up tempo. I think you're seeing us playing a much better rhythm now, and when you have that rhythm, shooting is rhythm, and so we're making shots now.
And with Desi in particular, how big has he been?
It's been good. He's done well. He's really improved throughout the year, and now you see him in the starting lineup, and he's playing really well.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Bob.
Dan, it's funny. Daniel was in here, and he talked about how he matured, and at times he's been not been very coachable. I guess that's a side of him, I really hadn't seen. I mean, what was he referring to, and how has he progressed maybe in doing a better job of listening to you guys and carrying out what you want him to do?
Well, like I say, when you're in that seat, it's a little different. Last year he was, the other guys were the guys that kind of took the brunt of, what was taking place. They took the ownership for the most part. And he was just a freshman, just free-willing, just playing. And this year now, some of that thing, the leadership and what you talk about, it falls upon him, even as him being one of the captains. And there are times where he doesn't handle it well. When that pressure of being that guy and it comes at you, and he wants to do well so bad, and so I think he's having to grow up and mature to that point, to understanding with that position comes accountability, and at the same time is how you react to it. And I think there are times he hadn't reacted the way he should, but then I think there are times he's been okay because the way he reacts, the guys are looking at him. Those guys, young guys, are looking up to him. And I think that's what he's talking about. There are times when I lose my cool and the young guys are looking up to me, and I could have been better.
Is he doing better in that regard?
Oh, much better. Oh, much better. Dan's come so far as unbelievable.
I guess this is Dave England's last game in Walton Arena, or at least as trainer. And I guess also, do you have any comment about the naming of the court after Nolan?
First with Dave, I think this is like 36 years of being here, whether he was a graduate assistant or that's hard to believe. No one's been a trainer in this building for any game other than Dave England. That's something he can. In 25 years, no one else has been the trainer here, and so that tells you the longevity. And Dave is a trooper. I tell you what. Just think, I left and I came back. He's still here, and but he's so important in all the success we've had because he's the guy that he has the ear of those guys. He gets to. It's amazing. The trainer gets to know these guys in an intimate way, and I think the beauty of it is Dave being a part of our team, our staff. I think he helps balance it. With our kids, but they come when they got emotional stuff going on. It may not even have to do with basketball. And Dave sometimes is that friend that you need away from basketball. And but he's, when you talk about injuries that we've had, guys have come back stronger and better, and a lot of that is attributed to Dave England. I mean, it's remarkable, and it's hard to believe that it's going to be his last game. But he'll still be around here, and when you talk about the obviously with Coach Richardson, I think that'll be an unbelievable honor, to have the court named after him, and it's something I'm sure a lot of people looking forward to, and hopefully it moves in that direction and continue to move in that direction. I'm excited for him. I think. But what he's done, not many people have done that. It boggles my mind because I've been so close to it. When you win a national junior college championship, you win a NIT championship, and then you come here and you win a national championship. Not many people have done that, and to have someone that has served in this capacity here at the University of Arkansas, been a great ambassador for the university. I mean, wherever you go, 40 Minutes to Hell, you see the documentary, you talk about Razorbacks, Nolan Richardson's name comes up. He's in both Hall of Fames. He's a Naismith Hall of Fame coach, and he still lives here. He still lives here. I always say sometimes, when I need to go and talk some basketball, I can just go right down the street here, and I get a chance to talk to a legend, and that's what he is, a true legend.
Mike, I know in 2013 you didn't have any seniors. As far as you know, is that year and this year the only time you haven't had seniors to honor in their last home game in your coaching career?
Yes.
So, what's that like? I mean, 'cause I know Vandy only had one guy the other night, but this is traditionally senior night, and you don't have any seniors, so it's really not senior night,
Well, it's the last game night. How about that? Senior night. It's it's interesting to say the least because you're used to having some kind of experience. Guys that have been through the test that could be those leaders for you, and we're having to do it with young guys this year. I think that's a credit to our young guys and to our coaching staff for even keeping these guys on the same page as we get to this part of the season. But it's just part of college athletics, you know, with transferring taking place. You're going to have even more teams that don't have seniors at some point in time. But at the beginning of the year, I talked about I'm looking forward to it and cultivating and shaping this team, and I still think we hadn't played our best basketball. So hopefully we're getting to that point right now with this young team.
Do you feel like you're getting to that point with this 2-game win streak and kind of ending this at home with the balance you're getting? And
I'm seeing what I want to see. I'm seeing more what I've been thinking we were going to see probably earlier. I'm seeing more balance, you know, when guys starting off, and then I'm seeing some balance coming from the bench. I'm seeing we're getting plus minutes from our bench, and that's big. I'm gonna tell you that's big because now we can rest guys and they can come in and they can finish the game out. So the depth, I think we created some more depth. Guys understanding their role a little bit. We just got to continue to play basketball. Like I said, we can bottle up what we did the other night. I think we certainly will be playing some of our best basketball.
Mike, have you thought about this being Daniel's last home game? I mean, we don't know what's going to happen for sure, but a lot of speculation. He could be a high draft pick. Have you thought about this being his last home game?
No, I really haven't. I've been so in tune to just getting this team to play at a high level, Bob, that it hadn't even dawned on me. You know, I'm thinking about Daniel. I'm thinking about Adriel. I'm thinking about all of them, and so I hadn't thought in that sense there. Just look at this as being the last game of the conference. And then, of course, we go into the next season, and that's where everybody's record is 0-0. So that's been my primary focus. But, you know, when the season's over with, we'll sit down with Dan and like we did last year, kind of assess and see where we are and move forward, move accordingly.
You know, he's obviously gotten a ton more attention like we talked about. How do you think he's improved this season? And, you know, he hit a jumper the other day. I think he was saying it was the first one he'd taken since Indiana. Does he take those in practice, or would you like to see him maybe shoot, you know, not, you know, 3-pointers, but maybe shoot a few more jump shots, you know, 12 or 15 feet or whatever?
We've talked about that. We discussed that, Dan and I, just stepping out, taking some shots, because he's got a nice touch, and but obviously he likes to get closer to the basket. But he's going to have to be able to step up and knock shots. He can. He has a nice touch. You can see that even at the free throw line. He may not be making them, but he got a nice touch. But he got a nice little stroke out there. And I think he can do it even more. You know, and then what it's going to do is continue to open up the floor. And but I think his game has really developed from last year. He's putting the ball on the floor. You saw it the other night. I mean, he took about 2 or 3 dribbles trying to get to the hole. One time he left from the free throw line, I think. I wouldn't advise that, but he's putting the ball on the floor and making plays, making great passes out of the double teams. He don't foul as much. If you think about it, he's been walling up on people a lot more. I think he's really improved. I think he's matured. I think he's played more minutes, without a doubt. But I think his development, you can see it. I mean, he's just oozing with so much potential. When you're talking about a big guy that can get up and down the floor like that, block shots. He can guard a guard. He can get out there and guard guards. So, but I think his best basketball continues to be in front of him. All right, thank you, guys.